today's guest. Her name is Elle Barr, and realized that we had actually met maybe 2 or 3 years ago in Philadelphia at a luncheon. So it's funny because when we first came up with the idea to do today's interview, it was with a different person named Tracy, and she really recommended that Elle do this because Elle is an attorney and a custody evaluator. And oh, here she is. Let me just get her on here, all the trickery and why you possibly need a parenting app. So thank you so much for coming on, Ellen, and it's good to see you again. But before you even introduce yourself, what would you say the biggest misconception is about parenting apps? Because a lot of people are like, I don't want to pay for something I don't need.
Well, first, good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I would say the number one misconception about parenting apps is that parenting apps are punitive, that they are court ordered, they're recommended to punish the parent. So, in the mind of the parent, they are emotionally overwhelmed, they are uncertain, they're unprepared to deal with all the responsibilities and all the complexities that come with co parenting. And then they're told, or they're in court and they are ordered to communicate exclusively on the co-parenting app. So first thought for them is, I am being punished. This was designed to monitor me, to punish me. So that's the number one misconception.
Wow. So that is not what I expected, but that is what we see. Often our clients are the ones who want the parenting app. So good to think of it like that. I think some people do resist it because they feel like, well, why do I have to be watched? Can't we just do it over email? But before we get into it further, Elle, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. So my name's Elle Barr. I am a family law attorney. I'm based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I've been practicing law now for almost 23 years. I have represented thousands of children at this point in my career. So I've had the unique opportunity to interact, to observe, and to really put forth some important best interest recommendations to the court on behalf of so many children. And I feel like I've helped to transform outcomes for so many families because of this role.
Yeah, so significant a role, and I'm sure lots of people are very afraid of you.
I will add, in addition to that, I also work for OurFamilyWizard, the co-parenting app. Just what
Mhm.
full transparency, I work for them. I'm their judicial education coordinator. So I educate judges, family law attorneys, mental health professionals, GALs, parenting coordinators, divorce coaches, certified financial planners, anyone and everyone who's a professional working with families going through a divorce or separation. I educate them on the co-parenting tools and how these tools help parents communicate, cooperate, and compromise to, improve outcomes for them and their family.
Yeah, I feel like with what Chris and I do, communication is the basis of everything. And we teach something called strategic communication, where it's all about how to always present yourself as the most reasonable co-parent ever, but understand you're writing to your ex, but for that invisible audience. And I know you're going to be talking about that and how OFW works, but we know lots of courts love parenting apps, especially OFW. But why don't you tell us what is actually the difference between OFW or Our Family Wizard and just using email?
Great question. There are a lot of really important differences. I'll start by giving just a real high level overview of OurFamilyWizard. For anyone who's not familiar with the platform, it is an app and a website. It helps co parents manage, like I said at the very beginning, they're overwhelmed, they're uncertain. There's no blueprint for co parenting, there's no manual. So OurFamilyWizard is there and it provides parents with all the tools they need to streamline that co-parenting relationship, to reduce conflict, and to increase accountability so that they can manage all those responsibilities, all of the complexities that come with raising children in two separate homes. So going back to your question, how is it different? How do you distinguish OurFamilyWizard from just email, texting? OurFamilyWizard, it's this robust platform with every single co-parenting tool you could possibly imagine to help co-parents raise their children and raise healthy, confident, and secure children, and provide them with the love and support they need, with all the tools that then reduce that conflict so they can have that outcome.
All right, so let's get into some of those details. So we know that OFW is often recommended for high conflict families. That's all that Chris and I deal with. Well, I shouldn't say high conflict families, but where one person tends to be creating the conflict, unfortunately. And so how does OFW help reduce the level of conflict with the tools?
Well, first, I'll start off by saying that when we talked at the beginning about the biggest misconception, I would say the second misconception about OurFamilyWizard is that it's a parenting app meant for high conflict families. It's not. It's
Mm-hmm.
for all families. Any family going through a divorce or separation, and even intact families could benefit
Really?
from the tools on the platform. It streamlines co-parenting. It's this one-stop shop where parents can do all their communicating, all their scheduling, all their expensing, upload and share information, calls. It's just the most thorough platform out there. So I'll start by saying that it's not just for high conflict families. And then just circling back to your question about how does it help the high conflict families? Well, we know in high conflict situations, it's tense. There are short-term and long-term consequences to the children because of what happens. So in OurFamilyWizard, there is um, there there are all these tools for parents where they can schedule parenting time events, holidays, birthdays. They could document their exchange times. They put their parenting schedule on. They could share information, files, videos. They can manage and track their expenses. They could send secure messages, and this is my favorite part of the platform. They could send their messages, their communications, with the help of our tone meter AI. It's artificial intelligence that helps them draft more productive, more calm, more courteous messages that that really truly puts the child first.
Okay. Somebody just asked the question, what's the difference between Talking Parents and OFW, OurFamilyWizard?
So Talking Parents, it's another co-parenting app. It came out years later after OurFamilyWizard. OurFamilyWizard is really truly the leading co-parenting app in the family law space. OurFamilyWizard, it started in the late 90s. Fast forward 27 years later, we are in 78 countries. We also, one big difference between OurFamilyWizard and other co-parenting apps is that we're a mission-based company. And it's one of the reasons I love working for this company. It's because we really truly care about children and families and improving outcomes. A huge difference is that OurFamilyWizard, we offer fee waivers to any family, any parent that is struggling financially. They could apply online to have their fees waived. And we have a special domestic violence program. So any survivor, whether they have a temporary PFA, protection from abuse, or a temporary restraining order, or a civil restraint, or a final, they could go online, just like with the parents who are struggling financially. Any survivor could go online, fill out the form, submit documentation showing their status, and they will also be provided with a fee waiver.
Wow, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, yeah, we're mission based. We really truly care about families. And then second, how are we different? We really have every single tool out there that parents need in order to co-parent effectively.
Wow, it's funny that you said it's even used for intact families. I always think about the shared calendar that a lot of people talk about loving is when they get divorced and then they've got the parenting schedule and they're like, I don't know how to keep up. I know my my partner Chris with his ex used OurFamilyWizard for like a decade, and he said, as soon as I got our schedule, I put it in for the next 10 years. It just made it so easy to be able to see what was where and when.
Yeah, that one shared calendar. And over the years, I've had the opportunity to see how it's been updated, how it's been expanded. There are so many tools within that calendar feature, not just putting on your parenting schedule, but then you put on the holidays. Those holidays override the parenting schedule. You put on
Mhm.
vacations. Again, overriding the regular. If they have a 2552, but they have week on, week off in the summer, they put their summer schedule on, or their summer vacations. They get 2 weeks in July and 2 weeks in August, and then events and holidays and birthdays, everything else. And recently, well, this was a few years back, but relatively recently, a new tool was added to the calendar feature. It's a parenting schedule modification tool. So instead of reopening the dialogue and sending a message to your co-parent, if you need to modify the parenting schedule, like let's say coming up, it's dad's weekend, but dad has a last minute business trip. Instead of sending a message to mom, dad could go into the calendar feature on the platform, click parenting modification request. Dad fills out the fields. He puts that he's not available this weekend and he would like to trade it for a weekend in the future where he is available. He sends it to mom. Mom receives her notification, opens it. There'll be all the time stamping, so holding the parents accountable. Mom can approve, mom can refuse, or mom can counter. They could go back and forth as many times as they need to until they come to an agreement or they don't come to an agreement. So that's just one of the many tools on the platform and one of the many tools on the calendar feature.
Oh, great. All right. We just got two quick questions in succession. What is the monthly fee for OFW? Is it different in different places or is it the same?
Great question. And so it is an annual subscription. There are 4 different packages. So the 4 different packages, it starts at $99 a year plus the $10 for tone meter. And it goes all the way up to $299 a year for our max package. The max package includes every single bell and whistle, included recorded phone calls, transcripts, unlimited storage, unlimited minutes. So if you go online to our website and you type in, or you go to the little search tool, the little magnifying glass, type in pricing and packages, you could see all of the different prices and the packages and what is included in each package.
Okay. And then the other question says, are there plans to incorporate AI into the messaging to facilitate BIF type responses? So BIF, for anyone that doesn't know, Bill Eddy, who we are so proud wrote the foreword to our current book. He's like our guru, but he is the founder of the High Conflict Institute, former social worker, lawyer, and he came up with this method called BIF, which stands for brief, informative, friendly, and factual, or firm. depends how you want to interpret it. But anyway, it's really it's different from what we teach, but it has a similar tone in that it's like, let's just communicate and keep out all that bad emotion. So is there anything, to incorporate that specific model?
Yes, that's exactly how the AI functions. The parent doesn't need to put in any prompt. As they're typing their message in real time, our tone meter AI, our artificial intelligence, is already set and ready to go with that prompt to keep the messages concise, clear, calm, child focused, constructive, courteous. It's the 6 C's.
Oh, I was going to say lots of C's, CCCs. Uh-huh.
It's very similar. It's a spin-off to BIF, to brief, informative, friendly, and firm. So it's calm, concise, clear, child-focused, constructive, and courteous. So the AI already has that prompt to take the message, to do a tone analysis, and to provide a rewrite. It'll first flag it. So if a parent says, let's say, for example, they're arguing over pickup time, it's an exchange argument. So dad writes to mom, don't be late as usual. That's the message.
Yeah.
So as dad's typing that in real time, tone meter is going to pop up and it's going to flag that as negative. Flagged as negative, it's going to be red bars popping up. There'll be a beating heart where the parent can click and get a rewrite. And the rewrite will most likely say something like, being on time is really important. See you at pickup time. So it's going to change it. It's going to change it from something that could, in dad's mind, he thinks, oh, this is innocuous. Mom's always late. I'm just going to tell her, don't be late as usual. But our tone meter AI is going to pick up on that, flag it as negative, and then rewrite it into a message that is calm, concise, clear, child-focused, constructive, and courteous.
Okay, great. All right, now let's flip to deceitful software. So I think it was probably Steve Bradley, who's the tech cowboy and works for OFW too. We've seen him at a bunch of conferences and things. And he was talking about this crazy story where people had altered conversations not on OFW and brought it as evidence to court And luckily, they were able to grab someone's phone and prove that certain information wasn't sent. But what does that mean, and how does OFW protect you from deceitful software?
Okay, I'll start by saying Our Family Wizard is the single source of truth. It's my favorite thing to say about the app. It is the one-stop shop where everything is documented, time-stamped. Any action a parent takes on that platform will have documentation with that timestamp, date and time. I've heard the story from Steve Bradley. I've heard so many stories over the years. I will tell you a personal story. So last Thanksgiving, I'm having everyone over my house. This isn't, this is my son who did this, but there's a lot of deceitful software out there. And he did this as a joke. He thought this was funny. I'm in the kitchen. I'm so stressed out. I'm telling the kids, no one's allowed in the kitchen. I'm getting Thanksgiving ready. So it's about half an hour before everyone's coming over, my entire family. I get a call and it says King Crust Pizza. I'm like, why is King Crust Pizza calling me on Thanksgiving? And so I
Mhm.
up. It says, we have 15 pizzas ready to go. Who's coming to pick them up? And I'm like, what? And I screamed at my kids and everyone in the house. I'm like, everyone needs to come down here right now. Who ordered the pizza? I have King Crust on the phone. And when I see my son, at the time he was 12, he's laughing hysterically. And then I see his two sisters laughing and laughing. They downloaded some app like iFake voicemail or all these different apps. Anyone could go into the app store, download. There's hundreds of them. I know 100% there's this iFake text message where you could send fake text messages, have a whole spoof text chain, screenshot it, send it to your attorney, attach it to a motion, have it admitted into the court record. I mean, there's so many things out there that people need to be aware of. And Our Family Wizard is hyper vigilant to that. And so, because of that, we know with co parents, especially those who are high conflict, everything needs to be documented, everything needs to be preserved.
Yeah, wow. And what's up with the blurred background? Tracy, who also works for OFW, was saying you introduced the blurred background for a certain reason.
Yeah, there are a few reasons for that. When the calls feature first came out during the pandemic, it looked just like a regular FaceTime call. And the calls feature, fast forward 5, 6 years now, it's really being used for virtual visitation. Very
Mhm.
rarely is it being used for one parent to call the other parent. It's being court ordered and it's being utilized by parents for one parent who wants virtual contact with the child but can't do it unless it's either quote unquote supervised or recorded. So they're
Mhm.
our able to do that. So the blurred background was introduced maybe 3 or 4 months ago. It's really recent. It's done to protect both parents and children. So number one, children. We want to protect the privacy of children. And also in cases of domestic violence, we really want to protect the privacy of parents. Make sure that as survivors, their children as a secondary victims, their personal and private information isn't shared. So I guess this blurred feature, it just reinforces that principle that share what's necessary to the co-parent, but don't overshare, whether it's information about the children, where you're living, what you're doing in any situation. Only share what's necessary.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so somebody asked this question. I think you might have just answered. My ex only FaceTimes to know my whereabouts, where I am, etc. Will blur background help?
Yes, of course, it's going to protect you from that. It's going to make sure everything behind you, like right now, I see your background, those beautiful sunflowers. I mean, with the blur on, you're not going to know what that is, not going to know where you are.
Okay. And you mentioned things with kids. What's going on with kids and having their own access to OFW? Because we hear stories where people say, oh, yeah, my ex is sending me messages and they're trying to loop the kids in, and the kids have an account with OFW too. And I'm like, what?
So we do have accounts for children. Those accounts, they're called third-party accounts. They're very
Mhm.
simple accounts for grandparents, babysitters, step-parents. They have
Okay.
very limited access. So accounts for children, they can send and receive messages. So yes, a parent can write the child and copy the co-parent. So yeah, that does happen. They can
Hmm.
they could see the shared calendar. Anything that's entered on the calendar, they can see that parenting schedule, parenting schedule modifications, events, parties, holidays, vacations that they have access to, and they could see shared journal entries. So there is a lot of confusion. Well, can the child see my communications, what I'm, messaging to my co-parent? No, they
Okay,
can't.
that's good. That's what I wanted to know is like, how could they see that? Who would want them to see that?
They can't. They could only see a message that was sent directly to them. And if their co-parent is copied, that could happen, but it doesn't necessarily have to happen. Most parents are not messaging their children on OurFamilyWizard, and if they are, it generally raises a red flag. Why? Why are you sending a message to Wizard?
Yeah. Okay. So another thing we see a lot is where one person wants OFW and the other parent doesn't. How do you deal with getting a judge to order that? And is it easy to get that included in an order? Because in our experience, it is easy to get it ordered.
Right. So as a GAL, I don't recommend a parenting app because the parent wants it. For the most part, I'm recommending it because it's going to benefit the child. So
Mm-hmm.
if communication is creating the conflict and there's misunderstandings and the child's being exposed to the disputes and being put in the middle, this is the communication tool that is going to serve the child's best interest. So for me as a GAL, it's real easy. I just make the best interest argument, and it's,
Mm-hmm.
without a second thought. Yes, this family is communicating on OurFamilyWizard, regardless of the parent's objection. And I've heard over the years, I've heard real objections. I heard a father once object that it violated his First Amendment rights, it placed him at a disadvantage, that it would be prejudicial to him. Even those arguments, they get quashed because best interest, that takes priority.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. What about, so another thing that we've had happen is some of our clients' exes say they can't get it to work. Doctors, brilliant human beings who are very successful at everything else. What do you think about a parent who says, I can't figure out OFW?
That comes up a lot, and it's a great excuse. And I'm guilty of having tech issues. Technology can be frustrating at times, but what I say to parents is I encourage you to take the time to learn how to use the platform. We have a resource page on our website. I'm really sorry. Keep ringing my doorbell. Should we hit pause?
No, we can't. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
I feel you. I have totally been there. It's usually my kids in the background having a loud conversation. I'm like, can you stop?
Yeah.
I totally understand.
Someone just really wants to get into my house right now. But yeah, I can't control who's ringing my doorbell, so I can't really control parents, issues with tech, but I can lead them and I can guide them to the right resources. It's really user friendly. I mean, we have this incredible development team, and they do tons and tons of testing, and they'll do testing with different age groups. And a while ago, we had my grandmother. This was before she passed away, and she was in her 90s, almost 96 years old, playing on the app, trying to figure it out. And, if my 96-year-old grandmother can do it, you could do it too.
Yep, of course. And then any other tips to avoid all the trickery? Any other ideas of like what people should be thinking about at the beginning? How they can maybe make a persuasive argument to their ex, short of having to go get a court order to get this in place?
I think if it's presented in the right way, here's a one-stop shop for all of our communication, our scheduling, our expenses. I want to take the emotion out of everything. I want to do this for the kids. I want all the communications to be, preserved so there's no misunderstandings. I want to be held accountable. If a parent says, I want what I say to be documented and preserved so that I have to take ownership of it, sometimes that'll flip it and the other parent will say, oh, wow, okay. Well, if you want to take ownership for what you say and do, then yeah, let's get on this app and let's have, this one-stop shop for everything for our kids.
Yeah. Oh, another question. Shared photos. Can you share photos on the app?
Yeah, we have a journal feature, and part of that journal feature is sharing photos, videos, documents. It's a great spot.
Okay. All right. I bet you're just like, I can get this one. That's okay.
This person really wants to get into my house.
No, no problem. So, how can people either talk, did they talk to you about it, or how can they find out more about parenting apps like OFW?
Absolutely. I am all over the internet. If you type in Elle Barr, you'll most likely find my Our Family Wizard email. You'll probably find my Gmail. You can reach out to me. Any parent can send me an email. It may not be me who responds, it might be someone from my team, but we will always get back to you. Our Family Wizard has customer service. You can reach our customer service online on our website. You could chat online. You could email info@ourfamilywizard.com, or you could call our 1-800 number, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., 7 days a week. We are a company that really, truly cares about children, about families. We want to support you. We want to help you. We know that going through a divorce or separation, it's a life quake, and we are a resource for you. So lean in, don't hesitate to reach out. If you've got a tech problem, you're worried about something, you need help with onboarding, we're here for you.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Elle, for this, and especially the information on the domestic violence fee waiver. I mean, we only work with domestic violence victims, so this is super, super helpful.
Okay, great. That's good to know. Yeah, please.
Yeah. And I'm sure I'll see you around Amicable Divorce Network again.
Definitely. I look forward to that.
All right. Take care. Thanks again.
Bye.
Bye.